I moved to Norway at the age of 16, not knowing a single word of the Norwegian language. 4 years later, not only could I speak Norwegian fluently, but I also aced the Norwegian high school with the top-notch GPA that got me into medical school here in Oslo. All the study techniques and productivity tips aside, one major reason I was able to do this is because I went to school in Pakistan for 11 years. And here's why. What's cooking sapiens? Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Arham and I'm a medical student at the University of Oslo in Norway. The first reason why I was able to stand out is because of rote learning. Rote learning is a method of memorization in which information is memorized or learned by repetition and more repetition, rather than necessarily understanding the meaning behind or the context behind what you're trying to learn. It is often used to memorize facts, formulas, lists, or any other information which is supposed to be recalled verbatim. Now, interestingly, rote learning is oftentimes looked down upon because it is contrasted with other meaningful forms of learning such as critical thinking, problem solving, and understanding. Now, normally we are told in the West, especially in the Scandinavian countries, that there is a lot more focus on these other meaningful forms of learning rather than focusing children or students to memorize and focus on rote learning. Now, here's the dilemma, or here's actually what I observed here in Norway, and that is that I had science subjects, and in subjects like chemistry, physics, mathematics, how much meaningful learning can you actually incorporate? There are still the same conventional methods being used where you have to use formulas, where you have to memorize definitions, where you have to solve tons and tons of questions. This enabled me to breeze through any kind of knowledge or any piece of information which required a lot of memorization compared to my fellow students, my classmates, and my friends who normally would struggle a lot with everything that was associated with memorization. And I firmly believe that one of the main reasons why I was able to learn the Norwegian language so quickly was because I could memorize stuff quite easily. Learning a new language, learning a foreign language is basically 80 to 90% just memorization. New words, new vocabulary, new sentences. You have to memorize stuff. After about 4 months in this Norwegian beginner course, I actually got promoted to a much more advanced class because my teachers could see my insane learning curve, and that I primarily thank my schooling in Pakistan for. Now, I'm not trying to promote rote learning. I'm not trying to say that rote learning is the way forward and it's much better than other meaningful forms of learning such as critical thinking and problem solving. What I'm saying is that rote learning is something I grew up with, and that really helped me learn how to memorize stuff, and that edge in memorization in return gave me an edge when it came to schooling here in the West. The second reason why I was able to stand out is because of public speaking. Now, in South Asian countries, in Pakistan, India in general, there is a huge culture for inter-school debating competitions, and I used to be in the debating team for my school. From grade 9 to grade 11, I was literally participating and representing my school in a debating competition every single week. We would be given a topic around 30 minutes before the debate started, and then we would have those 30 minutes to prepare our speeches. So we would just sit down, think, brainstorm, and jot down the main points, and then we would present those points for 7 to 8 minutes directly, straight, non-stop. This massively improved my ability to communicate persuasively and effectively, which can be beneficial in a variety of classroom settings. This includes being able to present ideas clearly, answering questions much more confidently and effectively, and also in a much more persuasive manner, and participating in class discussions. Public speaking also teaches you to organize your thoughts and ideas in a very coherent and logical manner, which I especially found very useful when it came to writing reports and essays. Not only that, but it also built my confidence and reduced anxiety. And confidence is like an energy which you can radiate. and other people can literally feel or see that energy radiating from you. And when that happens, you automatically get noticed, not only by the students but also by the teachers, and that again helps you stand out. And when you get noticed by teachers and you take part in class discussions and you actively present yourself in a class, for example during presentations, that automatically leads to better grades as well. The final thing which public speaking really helped me with is the ability to think on your feet, the ability to improvise and be creative, the ability to find innovative solutions to problems in the situation. When you, for example, are having an oral exam and the examinator asks you a trick question. Now, instead of getting a complete brain freeze, you can actually think on your feet there and then, try to improvise, try to come up with something innovative, and try to get yourself out of that challenging situation. The last and final factor which helped me stand out is grades. Now in Pakistan, we had grades already from the very first class. Class 1, we had grades, and not only that, we also had positions. We would get like this massive report card, and that would give us individual grades in every subject, and then an overall assessment and an overall position in the class. And that position would indicate how good you were compared to other students. For example, 7th position would mean that you were the 7th best in your class. And mind you, we were having this already from class 1, from the first grade. We were little kids back then, and we were still having grades, assessments, and positions. However, here in Scandinavian countries, especially Norway, you don't have any grades from class 1 to class 7. And then from class 7 to class 10, you have assessments and grades, but those grades do not really bear any consequences at all. And that is why most students do not really take these grades from class 7 to class 10 seriously. And then they begin college or high school, which is grade 11th, 12th, and 13th. And the GPA from these 3 years is going to basically determine which line or which program you get into at your university. And now all of a sudden students are taken by shock. They have never experienced this kind of pressure when it comes to grades and GPA before, and hence that automatically impacts them in a much negative way, because they have never really been used to handling that amount of stress when it comes to school. And I know that the use of grades is a topic of debate. It's a very heated topic with valid arguments on both sides, so I'm not going to go into that. However, what I'm saying is that from personal experience, the major benefit that I had from grades, from having like these assessments, was that it really instilled a competitive mindset inside me. First of all, the pressure I was experiencing compared to all my other fellow students was much less, because this was something I was absolutely used to. Number 2, I wanted to be the best. I had this competitive mindset from the very get-go. That is what I grew up with. So I wanted to be the best in class. I wanted to perform my level best. I wanted to give it my everything, because I wanted to stand out. I wanted to be the smartest person in the class, the smartest guy in the room. You probably hear this all the time, but mindset is everything. It is really true. Mindset helps you outperform everybody else, even before the task has begun. Now, overall, I'm not saying that the education system in Pakistan or in South Asian countries is better than in the West or better than in Scandinavia. What I'm saying is that the education system in these South Asian countries is very different to what we have in Europe and what we have in Scandinavian countries. And that difference, that really helps you stand out, because you are brought up in a different situation. You have been used to a whole different environment, and the positives from that environment really help you get noticed in class. That's a wrap for today's Sapiens. I hope you found the video useful, and here's a link to another video which might be valuable to you guys, and I'll see you guys on the other side. Take care. Peace.